Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It's so great to have you here today. So, today we're talking about a major issue that impacts millions of Americans and people all over the world. And this topic is something that's so near and dear to my heart, and I'm a huge advocate for, which is our mental health. And it's May. So, May, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. If you didn't know that, now you do. And in honor of that, we're going to talk about ways that we can really help our overall well being. But before we do, let's get into this week's quote. Give yourself a break. Stop beating yourself up. Everyone makes mistakes, has setbacks, and failures. You don't come with a book on how to get it right all the time. You will fail sometimes, not because you plan to, but simply because you're human. Failure is a part of creating a great life. And that's by Les Brown. And a couple things stood out to me when I saw this quote a few years ago. But it's really being able to understand we are our own worst critics sometimes. We are. It doesn't allow us to move forward because we might look at it as debilitating, looking at it as it's the end of the world. But in reality, we can learn from it, we can grow from it, and really develop into a better version of ourselves each time and creating that great life. So I absolutely love this quote. But let's get into what we can do to really help our overall well being and our mental health. The first thing is maintain a healthy lifestyle, stay active. It will boost your confidence, it will help with your sleep, and it causes chemicals to change in your brain, which changes your mood. So when we look at endorphins being released when we work out, that makes us feel better. We feel like we're accomplishing a goal. Even if it's only a few minutes of a workout, we're still moving our bodies. And that's a huge part of it, that mind body connection and being able to release stress and all the studies that go along with staying active, that it really helps our overall well being. It's being able to eat healthy. So, to function, our brains need nutrients and enough of them. So, it's finding things that help balance what we're eating. We don't have to eat very rigid or restrictive, depending on if you have food allergies or other things, yes, but being able to have something that's really nourishing your mind and your body, superfoods that really help the brain, but being able to know what our bodies need, and everyone's different. Body chemistry is different. I always say that. But being able to understand what's going to help us can really help us feel better too. Limit sugary or high caffeine drinks. It's really important that we cut back on the drinks that are not as healthy for us or energy drinks. I know I used to drink a lot of caffeine, a lot, too much. And recently I just switched from regular espresso to half calf, so half regular, half decaf espresso, because I noticed my heart rate was going really high and I felt a little bit off. I have asthma, so my breathing was a little off too. And as soon as I switched, I noticed that I felt better. I had more energy and I wasn't really tired. I didn't need more caffeine to keep me awake. So I think it's recognizing when our bodies are having too much and how we can adjust that. And another thing going on the drinks is staying hydrated, drinking plenty of water, and it could impact us where we live. So when I lived in sea level versus the altitude I live in now in Colorado, it's a little bit different. My boyfriend has to remind me all the time to drink enough water, but it's being able to recognize too that we might need a little bit more water depending on where we are, and that's going to help with the overall health as well. Connect with others. Who's in your inner circle? Who can you count on? Who's there cheering you on? Or when you're in your darkest moments, who's there? And looking at that. And if you need to connect with others, finding support groups, finding professional help, and we'll talk about that as well. But the biggest thing is having healthy relationships are vital. Finding people that are like minded, that you enjoy the same things, shared positive experiences, going to certain places or doing activities that you like too with friends or family or people that are in your network. It builds a sense of self worth and belonging. I know I love being part of teams. I love that atmosphere of working together on something. It really helps me, but for other people too, what does that look like for you? and being able to have that face-to-face interaction. A lot of people felt stuck that I would talk to during COVID because they couldn't go out. They were more extroverted. They feed off of energy of people being around them. And when we don't have that, that can really impact our overall well being. So, being able to have a little bit more face to face interaction, even if you aren't super extroverted, just being able to know when you need that time together in person versus maybe on FaceTime, over the phone, or on Zoom, any of those things. Next is mindfulness. Be present in the moment. Be able to identify your thoughts. Where is your mind going? What are you thinking about? That can impact how you're feeling, which brings me to the next point, which is identify your feelings. So, what's going on physically for you? Because once you're able to understand what are you feeling? Are you feeling stressed? I know when I'm stressed, my stomach starts to cramp. I feel irritated a little bit more. But before, I wasn't able to recognize, okay, this is stress. I just felt like, oh, physically, I don't feel so good. But being able to really identify the feeling with how it impacts you physically can be a game changer. But it goes back to being mindful of that. And it helps us understand ourselves better and the environment around us. So find time in every day to have a mindful walk or hike or something active where you're able to kind of just look around you. Look at the sky, the flowers, the grass around you, the trees, everything that is in your environment when you're walking, because it'll make you stay in the present too. And observe too your breath and the fresh air that you're breathing in. If you don't have time to do a mindful walk, maybe it's sitting or standing outside for a few minutes. Maybe you live somewhere where you have a balcony or a front porch or patio or anything along those lines. Being able to just get outside for a few minutes can really change your overall well being as well. And I know I talk about that a lot, but I think it's a really important point. And change up your workspace. So it depends on if you work at home, because I know a lot of people do work at home as entrepreneurs or even just working at home. When we're able to change up that space. So if, for instance, you're sitting on the couch, maybe the next day you sit at your desk and chair. Maybe the next day you go to a coffee shop. Just being able to change that environment can remove that stuck feeling sometimes because you get in a rut and you're not able to really transpire of maybe getting more creative or maybe feeling a certain way. So when we're able to change up the workspace, it can make such a difference. And lastly, ask for help. Give yourself permission. When we realize that it's too much, that is absolutely okay to ask for help. Hearing it right here. And if that person can't help you, that you're asking for help, it's finding somebody else that can. Because people want to help people. At least that's been my experience, especially in the therapy world, the coaching world. But being able to recognize too, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to suffer. You can ask for help. You can reach out. And that takes a lot of courage. It really does. And a lot of strength. It does not make you weak whatsoever. It just shows that you are willing to make a change in life that's going to be better for you internally. So some of the signs when it's time to ask for help, really to look at, there's so many more, but these are like prime, I would say, is your usual coping strategies and skills aren't helping anymore. You might need new ones. You might need a little extra help. Difficulty sleeping, so restlessness, sleeplessness, not able to fall asleep, stay asleep. Any of those factors can really be an indicator. Struggling to focus. Your mind's going everywhere. You can't concentrate. Unable to handle life stressors. So things that are just normal life stressors that have become a little bit too much to take on. Lack of interest in things that used to bring you joy. The things that you loved but no longer really spark that interest. And life transitions that are becoming overwhelming to manage. We all go through life transitions, but how are you handling it? I mean, there's major life stressors in general, but when you're going through transitions of moving, relationships, work environment, they could be really exciting transitions, but sometimes they can become overwhelming. And that's where help is there. It's just being able to find what works for you. So here are some resources that can be really beneficial. Just to name a few, NAMI, which is National Alliance on Mental Illness. This is the website you can go to. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. This is the phone number you can call. It's absolutely free. Psychology Today. This is a great website to find a therapist. They do have articles and other amazing things on there. I actually used to be a therapist on Psychology Today, but being able to find out what you need from somebody. So it's kind of like dating in a way. You find, okay, well, what do I want, a male or female therapist? What zip code? So it's close by. What type of issue are you dealing with where you need that extra help and support? And how long they've been practicing. There's so many different facets that you can look through, as well as insurance too, if you want insurance. It helps you narrow down and filters it so you can find the right one for you. And like I was mentioning with dating, it's sometimes the first therapist you meet isn't right for you. And that's absolutely okay. I was always suggest with my clients, if they weren't comfortable with me or wanted a different type of therapist, it's that's absolutely okay and that's fine, because you want to make sure that whoever your therapist is somebody that you know you can talk to and open up to, so they can help guide you becoming that better version, to help you with anything that you're struggling with. So I'm a firm believer, if the therapist, you give it like 2, 3, 4 times and you don't feel like it's the right fit, that's okay. It's looking for another therapist. It's a process, it's hard, but at the end of the day, it's so worth it when you find the right therapist for you that's really going to help you and help you make those changes in your life. And some apps to look into, some of them I've talked about, but the first one is Talkspace, and that is for therapy. So if you don't want to go in person, Talkspace is great for talking online or text messaging. There's other packages involved. I have a couple friends that are therapists that do use this, and they've had amazing success with their clients on there. In addition to that, Calm, Insight Timer, and Headspace are great for meditation, really calm the mind and the body as well. So, those are just a few resources. If you need more, please reach out. You can comment below. If you don't feel comfortable commenting below, absolutely fine. Please reach out to me on any social media platform, and I will help you the best way I can and give you the right resources that you're needing. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a very important topic and a major issue that so many people face. And if we can remove the stigma and recognize that we're all human, we just struggle with different things, I think that's the best part. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next.